The F175 live event was an absolute banger, new liveries, cringeworthy celebrity cameos, and the FIA getting booed harder than Netflix's Drive to Survive scriptwriters. But now it's time to shift gears because pre-season testing is here and the chaos is just getting started. Lewis' Ferrari debut had more drama than a Toto Wolff press conference. And Fernando? He's still out here proving he's the greatest rookie of all time, even if he's older than the Halo device. Now, moving on to the main theme of this video, the pre-season testing. In this video, we're breaking down the Bahrain track pre-season testing schedule, when are they happening, and my predictions for who's going to dominate or embarrass themselves. Spoiler, Ferrari strategy team already has a Plan F ready. Alright, F1 fam, let's talk about pre-season testing, aka the Are We Fast or Are We Ferrari showdown. This is where teams roll out their shiny new cars, cross their fingers and pray they didn't just build a glorified lawnmower. F1 is a machine game and these cars are basically rocket ships on wheels. But here's the thing, even the best engineers need data, and that's where testing comes in. Teams gather at tracks like Bahrain to push their cars to the limit, tweak setups, and figure out if their million-dollar upgrades actually work or if they're just fancy paperweights. It's like finals week for engineers, but instead of pulling all-nighters with coffee, they're pulling all-nighters with wind tunnels and tire sensors. And let's not forget the drivers. They're out there trying to figure out if the car feels like a dream or a death trap. And let's be real, pre-season testing is where dreams are made or shattered. Remember when Mercedes showed up with their DAS system and everyone was like, is this legal? Or when Haas showed up in 2021 with a car so slow, even Williams felt bad for them. Yeah, testing is where you either dominate or embarrass your entire team name. And let's not even talk about the time Red Bull showed up with a car so fast the FIA started rewriting the rulebook mid-season. Or when Fernando Alonso showed up to testing with a lawn chair and a coffee, basically saying, wake me up when the car works. So, buckle up, because pre-season testing is where the drama begins. And let's not forget, Aston Martin. Will they actually deliver on those green Red Bull promises, or is it just another case of Lawrence Stroll's wishful thinking? Testing is where we get our first taste of the chaos, and trust me, it's gonna be wild. Alright F1 fam, let's talk about the Bahrain International Circuit, aka the we could have tested in Australia but let's go to the desert instead track. I mean, come on, who thought, hey, let's test F1 cars in the middle of a sandstorm? Sure, Bahrain's got great facilities, but imagine testing in Australia with kangaroos hopping across the track. Now, that would be entertainment, but no, we're stuck in Sakir where the only thing hopping is Ferrari's strategy team trying to figure out Plan A. Anyway, let's break down this desert roller coaster. The Bahrain track is 5.4 kilometers long, with 15 corners that'll test every driver's skill and every engineer's patience. The track layout is a mix of high-speed straights and technical sections, which means teams have to find the perfect balance between speed and downforce. Turn 1 is a classic hairpin, slow tight, and the perfect spot for someone to lock up and embarrass themselves. Then you've got the S's in Sector 2 where drivers zigzag like they're trying to avoid Ferrari's pit wall. And finally, there's the back straight leading into Turn 11, where DRS turns cars into rockets. But here's the kicker, Bahrain's surface is abrasive. Teams have to manage tire degradation carefully, or they'll end up with rubber so worn out, it looks like they've been racing on sandpaper. Oh, and did I mention the 3 DR zones? Yeah, they're on the main straight, between turns 3 and 4, and between turns 10 and 11. But let's be honest, even with DRS, overtaking here can feel like trying to pass a tractor on a country road. So why Bahrain? Well, it's got great weather, if you like sweating in 30-degree heat. It's close to most teams' factories, and it's a solid all-round test for the cars. It's also a great place for teams to hide their secrets. After all, who's going to notice if your car's slow when it's covered in sand? In short, Bahrain is the perfect mix of challenge and chaos. It's where teams either shine or get buried in the sand. And with pre-season testing just around the corner, we're about to find out who's ready to dominate and who's just here for the hummus. If nothing else, at least the sunsets are pretty, unlike Ferrari's pit stops. Lights out and away we go. Almost. The wait is over, F1 fans, because pre-season testing is just around the corner and it's time to mark your calendars. The action begins on Wednesday, February 26th and runs through Friday, February 28th. 3 days of pure, unadulterated F1 chaos at the Bahrain International Circuit. Each day is packed with 2 sessions. The morning session starts at 10 a.m. track time, and the afternoon session fires up at 19 p.m. track time. Yes, they're testing under the lights, because apparently F1 cars look even more dramatic when they're glowing like a neon sign at a 24-hour diner. The morning session is all about data collection. Teams will be running through their checklists, tweaking setups, and trying not to embarrass themselves in front of the cameras. But the afternoon session? That's where the magic happens. So, set your alarms, grab your coffee or energy drinks depending on your time zone, and get ready for 3 days of pure F1 chaos. Will Red Bull dominate? Will Ferrari finally figure out their strategy? Tune in, because pre-season testing is where the drama begins. Pre-season testing is like Christmas morning for F1 fans, full of excitement, surprises, and the occasional disappointment when you realize Ferrari still hasn't fixed their strategy. So, let's dive into what I think is going to happen over these 3 days in Bahrain. First up, Ferrari. Oh, Ferrari. Even with all the hype, the energy, and the Lewis Hamilton signing of the century, I'm still not convinced. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be proven wrong, but let's be real, Ferrari is still Ferrari. They'll show up with a car that looks fast on paper, but by the time testing ends, we'll probably see Charles Leclerc shaking his head on the radio. I'm ready to eat my words, Ferrari, but until then, Plan F, anyone? Now, let's talk about Red Bull. They dominated the start of 2024, hit a rough patch mid-season, and then clawed their way back by the end. Will they carry that momentum into 2025? Maybe. But if they don't, Max Verstappen is in trouble. The guy's a machine, but even he can't win if the car's not there. I'm expecting Red Bull to be solid, but not untouchable. And let's not forget, Adrian Newey's magic might be fading a bit. Speaking of magic, McLaren is my dark horse for testing. These guys have been on fire since the Miami GP last year, and I think they're going to bring the heat again. Their car development has been insane, and if they show up with something even close to what they had at the end of 2024, we could see a Ferrari versus McLaren showdown on day 1. Red Bull might join the party, but I'm not holding my breath. Now Mercedes, what can I say? I don't expect much from them. They'll probably be the 3rd or 4th best team, grabbing a podium here and there, but nothing groundbreaking. George Russell is good, but he's not that good. And Kimi Antonelli? Let's not expect him to be the next Ayrton Senna in his first outing. Mercedes is in a rebuilding phase, and it's going to take more than a few upgrades to fix that. But hold on to your racehorses, because my Trojan horse is Aston Martin. Why? 2 words, Adrian Newey. The man is a legend, and if anyone can turn Aston Martin into a title contender, it's him. Combine that with Fernando Alonso's sheer determination, and we might just see the Spaniard back on top again. Imagine the scenes if Alonso rolls into Bahrain and sets the fastest lap on day 1. The internet would break. So, there you have it, my predictions for pre-season testing. Ferrari will Ferrari, Red Bull will be solid but not invincible, McLaren will bring the heat, Mercedes will be, well, Mercedes. And Aston Martin might just surprise us all. Let's see how wrong I am when the cars hit the track. And that's a wrap, F1 fans. Pre-season testing is just the appetizer, and the 2025 season is the main course, and trust me, it's going to be a feast. From Ferrari's will they, won't they drama to Red Bull trying to keep their crown, McLaren bringing the heat, and Aston Martin lurking in the shadows with Adrian Newey's genius, this season is shaping up to be one for the books. So grab your popcorn, set your alarms, and get ready for another year of wheel-to-wheel action, spicy team radios, and memes that'll break the internet. Will Max Verstappen continue his reign? Will Lewis Hamilton finally bring Ferrari back to glory? Or will Fernando Alonso pull off the ultimate underdog story? One thing's for sure, the 2025 season is going to be wild. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because you won't want to miss a single lap of the chaos. Until then, keep the hype alive, and remember, in F1, anything can happen.